I want to explain something to you. No matter how you feel about Terence Crawford, his IQ level, his honesty, what have you, he knows more about boxing than all of us. Unless you're a former boxer, former promoter, he probably knows more about boxing than all of us. He's fed his kids off of boxing. He's dedicated his life to boxing. And what he don't know is a phone call away. Because he's surrounded by other people who've also dedicated their lives to boxing. He can call Andre Ward. He probably can call Roy Jones. He can call Antonio Tarver. There's promoters and managers he can call. These are people he knows personally. He can call Floyd Mayweather. He probably still got some contacts at Top Rank or former Top Rank employees that he can get in contact with. He has entertainment lawyers that deal with boxing. He knows all of this. And so this brings me to my point. The Errol Spence fans have one argument, which isn't much of an argument, if you ask me. Because if we're dealing with, since November 17, 2018 to current time, mid-January 2023, all of the delays up until this point has been Errol Spence. The only thing that put Terence Crawford on the hook for anything has been he walked away from negotiations. But it wasn't just the fact that he walked away from negotiations. It's the fact that he said he accepted everything and then walked away from negotiations. Although I will maintain Terence Crawford is not a true B-side, I'll get into that. But he still is a B-side nevertheless. He's not making the offer. And as a B-side, you only have two options. Take it or leave it. If you go apply for a job right now, you are the B-side in that interview. And they offer you something a little less than what you thought you would get paid or what you feel your worth is. You got two options. Take it or leave it. If you're an entrepreneur, right, just say you're trying to get your product in Walmart, and Walmart says, this is what we are going to take out of your project, out of your product, right? So just say you're selling it for $100. We go stock the shelves. You go sell more than you've ever sold. We taking 70%. That 30% may net you more than what you've been making, but you have two choices. Take it or leave it. So you cannot blame the B side for taking it and leaving it. For accepting the terms and then saying, hey, they changed the date. They playing too much. I'm out of here. You cannot blame the B side for that. That's the B side's only options. It's to take it or leave it. And what I mean by Terence Crawford is not a true B-side. There are characteristics of a B-side that he simply does not meet. We'll use a popular fighter right now, popular up-and-coming fighter. Jerron Boots Ennis. Has he been on pay-per-view? No, Terence Crawford has. Terence Crawford is probably top 10 pay-per-view sellers in boxing right now. I know you guys think he don't sell, but that's because you've been getting fed lies and you've been eating them up. But let's go with it. Let's go with Joshua, Canelo. Wilder didn't have a great dancing partner. He did 77,000 or 75,000. But we'll go with Wilder. We'll go with Tyson Fury. We'll go with Errol Spence. Hell, we'll even say Tank Davis did over 61, and we'll go with Tank Davis. We can even throw in, well, not current Manny Pacquiao. We can't throw in current Manny Pacquiao, can we? We can't throw in current Adrian Broner, can we? And so maybe there's a few I didn't mention. But we're talking about top 10 as in not 10%, as in 10 fighters. You cannot name 9 fighters who consistently does more pay-per-view numbers than Terence Crawford. Whether you like it or not, Terence Crawford helped Top Rank lock in their ESPN deal and the ESPN Plus deal. He launched that app, fighting on ESPN Plus. He helped launch BOK Prime. The reason you know who BOK Prime is because of Terence Crawford. So the notion that he doesn't sell, it's not true. And you'd be proven wrong by anybody who simply knows how to type in Google and then search things in the search bar. Even if you can name 15 fighters more popular than Terence Crawford, you have to understand there are thousands of fighters that still would put him in the top percentile of sellers. I already did the math on this. I'll do it again real quick because I want to drive my point home. Terence Crawford stood to make no more than $14 million fighting Errol Spence. That is with $100 million all in. And whether we want to do $1 million pay-per-view, well, 1 million pay-per-views and $20 million gate, which Gervonta Davis just did a $5.9 million gate and broke a record. So $20 million gate is pretty excessive. But maybe we bring the pay-per-views up to 1.1 or however we got to do it to get to $100 million. I want you to get on Google. Figure out how much fighters get to keep of that. Some fighters get to keep as low as like $8 per pay-per-view. Well, if you sell 1 million, then they'll be splitting $8 million. Or maybe they'll get $8 million a piece. Who knows? But typically it's about 40% for the popular fighters. So if we go 100 million and we take 40% of that, we have 40 million. And 35% of that, after expenses, is $14 million. And this is from a guy who brought $25 million to the table. So immediately, he's losing $11 million when they turn down the 25-25 split with an 80-20 back end. Immediately. And he knows this. I don't even think it's going to do 100 million. So if it doesn't do 100 million, and Terence Crawford was staring at 25 million, or the possibility of 25 million, and now he's making 10, then he just lost $15 million. Well, let me tell you why Errol Spence will turn it down. Because his cut is going to be a little north of 25 million. If Terence Crawford makes 14, he's going to make maybe 26, 27. But if it goes underneath that, Errol Spence still is around the $20 million range, 25, 23, 22, depending on how much it actually sells. So Errol Spence is not losing much. But Terence Crawford is sacrificing a lot. And this is from a guy, again, who's not a true B-side, who's also one of the top 10 sellers, who's already on the pound-for-pound list, who has already been undisputed, who is already a first ballot Hall of Famer, inductee, whenever the time comes. B-sides are typically not as accomplished as Terence Crawford. B-sides typically don't stand on their own. B-sides typically don't go out and make $10 million on their own. Typically, when a B-side runs across the A-side, it's the most money he's ever made in his life. It's the opportunity to increase his popularity. And it's also the opportunity at something that he's never accomplished. Maybe a belt. So you take Jerron Business, he'll get to be a world champion finally. All right? He'll make more money than he ever made in his entire life fighting the A-side. He's going to upgrade his car, upgrade his house. Might even trade in his spouse. That's the B-side. And the A-side typically is already accomplished, already pretty much where they want to be in their career, just adding on the finishing touches. If you look at Floyd Mayweather versus Berto, Floyd Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero, Berto and Guerrero bought new houses after they fought Floyd Mayweather. Berto kids' life changed. Robert Guerrero life changed. Ruben Guerrero life changed. Hell, Robert Guerrero life changed. You know, the medical attention his wife needed, she got. His kids are probably in a better school. Their trajectory in life has changed from fighting Floyd Mayweather. Terence Crawford is arguably getting the same money he would get for fighting David Avenesian. The only person whose purse is severely increasing is Errol Spence. That's typically not how A-side, B-side work. The A-side is getting about what they getting, and it's a privilege for the B-side to step in the ring with them. When it's the opposite. Everybody's getting rich other than Terence Crawford. So, with that said, he had the right to say, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out. It's not ducking. It's business. Again, we keep talking about the business of boxing. If it's good business to offer him 35%, then it's good business for him to turn down 35% and take $10 million. I want to repeat that. If it's good business to offer him 35%, which we know is $14 million if the fight makes $100 million, if it generates $100 million, then it's good business for him to turn that shit down and fight for $10 million. And say, we'll renegotiate this later. Because right now I got $10 million I can get, and then since you already got the fight in 2023, we can come back and I can get that money too. That's that $10 million, $11 million I'm missing off of that $25 million that you turned down. You don't understand this because you're a hater and you don't understand business. But business has to benefit everybody. Again, you go to a job interview and they're not paying you what you need to be paid. And if you got a savings and you really don't need the job right now, and you're a skilled worker or, you know, a doctor or a lawyer, you're somebody of value, why would you sign up for less money? And you can simply walk away. It's your option as the B-side. I'm out.